Good morning and welcome back to Miniature Monday. I am late as usual. But I mean, that's what happens when you think, oh, I need to get this. So, like, I'm sitting here shaking my fluorescent paint, I wonder if it's got a weird kind of gel consistency. So I'm thinking that might be an issue with mixing. So anyways, I'm trying to find a mixer online, then I can start reading reviews, and anyways, it turns into a mess. But needless to say, we're here, we're ready to paint, we're gonna get working on these dwarves again, or should I say squats. Maybe we'll get to the Genestealers, but overall, I mean, been a good weekend, was busy. I actually got to play I played 2 games of Kill Team. Realized that I was apparently completely cheating, which I mean, that's the problem. I mean, you're learning the rules, and people tell you one thing, and then you misinterpret it, and then they tell you, or then you play somebody else, and they're like, nope, that's completely wrong. And so, anyways, good morning, Silent Mouse. How are you today, sir? So, anyhow, with that said, I'm just going to switch over, and we're going to start working on it. Like I said, I'm still kind of stuck on this fluorescent orange, trying to get some better coverage. Like, let's see if I can. I guess it's not really showing, but a lot of the gray is still showing up underneath the orange. And so that's where I'm trying to figure out if I can get a little bit better coverage so I don't get upset and want to just paint over it. I mean, I'm going to hit it with a wash, so it's going to end up with kind of a dirty look anyways. We'll see. Still awake at 11:37. That's not a problem. I mean, that's normal for me. I mean, I'm different because I'm a weirdo and I stay up all night. Except the last couple of nights, I passed out at like 9. And slept till like 6. So, which is good. Getting caught up on sleep. They do say that, Silent Mouse. The catch is I've done a couple of coats, but this weird gel consistency, it's throwing me off. And I ran into the same problem with Army Painter. It's one of the reasons that when I decided to change up the paint that I was using, because like I just go to if I can, I go to the local store to get my paint, mostly because see, look, I'm putting another thin coat on and it's just not giving me the coverage. So I'm wondering if this is part of the nature of the fluorescence or my lack of skill. Maybe it is the mixing issue. I don't know. Anyhow, so but yeah, when I decided I wanted to stop, well, I was annoyed with my collection because it's all over the place. I mean, I like Reaper paints, but nobody carries them. And if I need a new color or a replacement color, I don't want to have to order it and wait a week to get the color that I need. The Pro Acryline, I mean, they're technically here local. So it's Monument Hobbies Pro. They call it Pro Acryl. My brain keeps wanting to say Pro Acryl, but I'm gonna get it Pro Acrylic. So, so they're actually local. I can just drive down to the factory and get it if I need it. In fact, I am actually going over there today. I ordered a couple of accessories for the miniature bag. I really should do a review of the miniature bag, or not the miniature, the paint bag. I think I'll do that after I get the couple of parts that I'm going to get today. Anyways, but so I can just drive right over there and get it from them directly, but they're a bit farther. There's a game store that I like to go to that carries them, and like a bunch of people in town carry it. So yeah, you're right that the camera makes it look like the coverage is okay. And the funny thing is, on all of the other colors I've used so far, so the flesh tone, the gray, the red, all of those, great coverage. I am only frustrated with this fluorescent orange. So it's definitely not. It's like with Army Painter, like I struggle with almost all of their paints. I love their washes. I mean, you know, you've been here forever, but I use that strong and dark tone wash all the time. It's great. Does exactly what I want. So I will probably keep using that, even though Monument does make some washes. I have one. I have not used it yet. So overall, I still love the paints, but I'm just not 100% sure if it's a color issue. I mean, it could just be a bad bottle, you know. There's a lot that can go into it, so I'm not saying it's one way or the other. Yeah, I like Vallejo as well. When I first started playing this stuff back in the late 90s, early 2000s, like Vallejo was easy to get. Everybody carried it. Now, not so much. Like specialty model stores will carry it, but like the hobby and the game stores, it's actually pretty rare to see. So, but I haven't had any issues with their paints. Like I said, at this stage, it really is just coming down to how quickly can I find it and get it. You know, when I did the giveaway miniature for Mundo, he wanted this teal and pink look, and I just walked over to the store, picked out the color, done. Not an issue. when I did the Sisters of Battle for Kim, and she didn't like the dark purple that I used. We went into the game store. She picked out a different purple. Bam, done. So that's really what I am worried about, is just that convenience factor. How easy is it for me to get new or replacement paints? And go from there. So yeah, dude, totally get it. And like I said, when I was getting started with the hobby, Vallejo was very common. You could get it all over the place. And actually, like, I can bring this out. Although that's interesting. I don't know where the other one is. I have these. When I go back to the bolt action stuff, I will use this. Vallejo is the standard for like military colors. Okay, we'll get into it in a minute, but the official answer is Gaming with ADHD does not use Games Workshop paints. Ever. They are what I started with because I didn't know any better. But yeah, I mean, anybody that carries Warhammer is going to carry Citadel color. Just guaranteed. Games Workshop is, for all intents and purposes, going to make them. But, oh, I absolutely despise the pots. Like, I have paint up here that has been unused for maybe a decade. And it still works. Mix it up, obviously. Maybe you got it, like I'm literally looking at one of those, like, paint agitator mixer things. To get a better mix than just shaking the paint. Well, shaking it with my hands. But yeah, some of this old paint, just shake it up, and it's going to work fine. The GW paint, chances are it's going to dry out, and you're going to lose it before you ever use half of it. Like, that's what happened to most of my old paint. And also, it's like it's a really stupid method. It's like, here, little flip top lid, open it up, and oh, you want to keep painting? Well, just sit here and dip into the cap and use the paint from there, and leave the bottle open the whole time. What? No actual artist is going to do that. That's why wet palettes, yes, I realize I don't use a wet palette. I waste plenty of paint, don't get me wrong, but I waste the paint that's right here, not the paint that's still sitting in the bottle. I mean, I realize it's a business, but some of the decisions from GW are just like just put them in dropper bottles. Put them in dropper bottles, and you will still sell a crap ton of paint. But then you're not screwing out your customers, you know? That and the stupid well, and then on top of that, these are 22 ml bottles, and Games Workshop is, I think, like 12. I've got to look because my brain, if I'm going to talk about it, Games Ash Workshop, shop, golden paints. All right, $7.80 for an 18 milliliter bottle. Like here, I will even show my screen so that nobody thinks that I'm just being a jerk. Even though Peanut Gallery thinks I'm being a jerk. All right, see? Hexwraith Flame, $7.80, 18 millimeter pot. Okay. So already, Pro Acryl, 22 milliliter, it's bigger. Actually, and I think that's even a big pot for Games Workshop. Let's filter. Then they've got like 8,000 different versions. Like, what are you doing? Okay, actually, I think this is going to be better. Aerial Yellow. Doesn't tell me. Now I'm annoyed. Warpstone Glow. Come on, tell me. Really? None of that. Of course, none of them actually say. Oh, I am getting so annoyed right now. Okay, regardless, it's $4.55. So this is going to be one of the small bottles. Hey, Chris, what's up, buddy? All right, so Monument Hobbies. Shop. Paint Singles. Bold Titanium White, $4.65. Okay. $4.65 for a 12 milliliter bottle, which we already saw the Hexwraith Flame, $7.80 for 18 milliliters. Okay, and this is one of the specialty ones. This isn't even, I don't know what the difference is. But it's got to be specialty because it's in one of the big pots. Maybe it's like a contrast paint or something. I don't know. My point being, $7.80. So I'm going to pay more and get less, and I'm going to have their crappy bottles. So I don't. Like, I get the Pro Acryl line now. 22 milliliter. So a nice big bottle. I mean, you kind of set me off. I mean, look, it's a paint and chill. Oh, I should probably switch back and stop sharing the screen because, you know, the metrics from YouTube to know how, you know, few people like to hang out with me. That's not that interesting. That's okay. It's actually a little better being just small. Then I can actually have the conversation. Anyways, but I have literally thought that, like, I've used that math for a long time. I am going to pay less. I am probably, like, at least for the bottle, I'm going to get a better product. Good morning, Mundo. I'm going to get a better product than the Citadel paints. And I'm going to be way less frustrated. and I'll be able to take a break from painting because the ADHD pulled me a different direction. And then when I come back to the paint, it's still going to be usable. Anyhow. So yeah, there's my rant about Games Workshop paints. Now, there is going to be an exception to that rule. So, in the UK, and I saw this while I was there, and I'd known about them for a while, but they're not as big in the US. I've seen them occasionally, but not quite the same. Anyways, there's this company called Hachette, or Hatchet, or something. I don't know. However you say it. Hey, Coco B. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Well, that was weird. What's that? Alexa. Nope, that's not plugged in. I don't know why my TV is responding to me. I did not say anything to it. Oh, it probably took my comment to now I'm thinking about spyware in my house. Let's try this. Hey Google, are you spying on me?
That's definitely not a thing I do. The information you share with me makes me a more personal assistant, but you can control what's shared and adjust what data is stored under your data in the assistant.
Okay, I don't know if you guys heard that. I'm going to try this again. Hey Google, are you spying on me?
That's definitely not a thing I do. The information you share with me makes me a more personal assistant, but you can control what's shared and adjust what data is stored under your data in the assistant.
I just wasn't sure if it came through the first time, so I wanted to point the microphone at it. Oh, and I also just realized I apologize to anyone who's using a Google device that I just triggered. Definitely not a thing that it does. Definitely not. Anyhow, so so the exception to the Games Workshop paints. There's this Hachette magazine, Partworks, or anyway, there's a lot of different things they call it. Anyways, basically they'll put out a magazine, and so and they'll partner with different companies. So like they did one with Dungeons and Dragons, they've done it with Warhammer a couple of times, and basically it's a subscription, and you pay about $60 a month, and then you get 4 magazines, and it comes with all sorts of models. Now, like they did it previously, and it had like you get like 3,000 points of Space Marines and 3,000 points of Necrons. This time they're doing like you'll get 9 combat patrols. Morning, Steven. So Hungar, But so then that's the thing, is they'll send you models, and they'll send you paint, and they'll send you like, and you get fiction, and you get see it, Chris. You'll get fiction, you'll get, you know, all sorts of stuff. And I just thought it would be fun. I just thought it would be fun to pick up a subscription to that and just kind of make that a theme for a little while. You know, like just because like it's gonna be just like a slow drip of stuff. And you know, I'll still do other stuff. I'll still do BattleTech. I'll still do, you know, Necromunda. I'll still mix in all sorts of different hobby time. But I just thought that one would be, it would just be fun to do and see, and then like actually try out the Games Workshop paints. You know, but it wouldn't be until like later this year anyways, that they started, so we'll see. Now, I mean, if Bungie, you tell me, like, you know what, if you do that, I'm gonna unsubscribe and I'm not hanging out anymore, yeah, maybe I'll rethink it, but I don't think anyone will. Anyhow. But yeah, I just thought it would be interesting. And Mundo, you're right. Like, all paint lines are different. They market different towards different audiences, and Games Workshop, you know, absolutely wants to be the one-stop shop. You come here, you get your models, you get your paint, you get your brushes. You get your clippers, you get your glue, you get, you know, get everything. And I honestly have no problems with that. Because, like, especially, like, if they set up in an area that's relatively new, you know, well, and especially, like, you know, the new player. New players don't know what they need. They don't. At first, they just want to get the job done. So, give them acceptable tools and acceptable products. It doesn't have to be the highest end. It doesn't have to be the best quality. But then, as they explore more with different aspects of the hobby, they'll do different things. Like when I've been down at the Warhammer store to play Kill Team, I see people come in and they buy models, they buy books, they don't buy the paint. You know. But they also seem to be more veteran gamers. So no, the coverage is not. Oh, sorry, Silent Mouse. The coverage has not gotten much better. It's like, again, I'm still adding another layer, so it's helping somewhat. But let's just say that I'm going to give up trying to get the coverage that I want from this particular fluorescent. So, yeah, for those wondering why Silent Mouse is asking, it's because I've literally been kind of complaining about, like, that's why we kind of ended up on the rant about paint anyways. the coverage on this fluorescent is not great. And I'm not sure if it's the paint, I'm not sure if it's the mix, I'm not sure if it's just the nature of fluorescent, but I've been fighting it since last week when I started working on these guys. You know, the coverage is like I shouldn't see as much of the gray peeking through the orange as I do, especially after 3 or 4 thin coats. So again, I don't know if I should have put a layer of white down, which probably would have helped. But regardless, it's what kind of set me off on this path of talking about different paints and why I was late firing up the stream, because I got distracted looking at mixers on Amazon so that I can get something to mix my paints a little better. Yep, been having a morning. All right, you know what? I want to paint some leather. Anyhow. So yeah, for now, I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm still going to hit it with the wash anyways, so maybe the layer of brown over it will get it to a point where I'm much more tolerant. So, and that's totally fair, and I have considered that. But I am afraid of like something happening and it just going blah. So, but I also want something that I can just have right here at the desk. And use it that way. So that's why I am looking at those. They're not too bad. They're like $30. I don't know why, but I like leather pouches. Like, I realize it's sci-fi and could be like some non-leather color, but I mean, especially like from a painting perspective, I like it just because it gives a little bit of a break in the coloring. instead of going from a gray to a black, it's got a bit more. It really is Sixth World. But yeah, it just gives it a different feel. The models, you know, broken up a little bit better. Like, good examples, like, you know, everybody always kind of makes fun of, you know, Superman for wearing his underwear, you know, on the outside. And you're right, it does seem a little odd, but when you actually, like they've done suits in the past that really were not received as well because, like, the legs and the torso just blend into one. Yes, tactical briefs. That's fair. That's fair, Sixth World. And so basically I learned that the whole point wasn't because it was these weird tactical briefs. It was just to break up the character a little bit and get some definition between the legs and the torso. So, like, even, like, basically some of the more successful redesigns at least incorporated, like, a belt.
I get it.
Hold on a second. I think I'm going to have to mute for a minute. Anyhow. So yeah, so even though it's sci-fi and it could be black or gray or something, I still like using brown and making them look like leather instead. Just because it breaks it up. See, and I mean, at least in this case, I mean, brown and red don't necessarily clash that much anyways, so. So, what else has happened this weekend? I mean, luckily there were no catastrophes in the gaming community that I'm aware of. I did get to play my third game of Kill Team. Was informed that I was cheating horribly. in my first 2 games of Kill Team. Because I'm playing Intercession Marines, which are sort of broken. I need to order one of those Pariah Nexus decks. I need to get together with Mundo and just play a game. It doesn't even have to be Warhammer. Anyhow. So it was kind of funny because the first game I played, I was told about the ceaseless rule in Kill Team. And the way I understood it was that I could re-roll any of my dice. So it's like, oh, I need a 3+ to hit. I rolled 3 2s. Cool. Let's re-roll all the 2s. Hey, look, I got 3 more 6s. So it was great. I literally just stomped the crap out of the guy I was playing against. Like we even called it. It's like, do I want to get greedy? Yes, I do. 'Cause it's funny. And I literally just stomped the ever-living crap out of the guy that I was playing. But he was a good sport. Nice guy. No issues there. Anyways, so then the second game that I played on Friday, because I called out on Thursday, and so I was awake, and so I went and played another game of Kill Team. And then Saturday, another guy was looking for a game, and I'm like, you know what? When I was looking for a game, I couldn't get anyone to respond. So, to try and encourage other people to respond, I will respond. It's like, you know what? You need a game? I will come down and I will get a game with you. It was also one of the guys that I'd met the first day that I was down there. And that was like 3 weeks ago. So I was like, you know what? Let's get a game with this guy. Anyways, so go down to play against this guy. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do ceaseless again. And I start picking up other dice, and he's like, no. You only get to reroll ones. Oh. That makes a lot more sense. So I did not like. Now I also went up against another Space Marine, so I ended up like doing much worse that game. But I also ended up having a lot more fun. We did use some more of the rules that I'd been kind of skipping over in the first couple of games, so it was a good time. Sixth World is in the process of painting more teeny tiny Ultramarines. Still haven't played a Legions Imperialis game, but I've almost got a fully legal force. See, there you go. It's all about the progress. I still haven't played Necromunda, but I've got 2 gangs done, and as you can see, I'm working on a 3rd. Mundo has finished painting the Tyranid Combat Patrol, just needs to finish the bases. Just needs to decide how to do them. Yeah, like that's one reason that you'll see me do the black bases all the time, is just trying to keep it easy and simple. Now, yeah, or I'll use 3D printed bases, and then I've just got to decide how I want to paint them. For my Intercessor Marines, I did just like a basic sand look to them. I think they came out. I actually think they came out really nice. It was actually just very simple. Glue the sand down. Use some of this brown that I'm using right now as the first layer, and then a couple of dry brush layers. And it looked great. So, but Necromunda, I got these like little kind of industrial deck plate looking bases, and because I figured that looked more like an underhive. And even that, I just kept it simple. I don't think I was live streaming when I did the bases. I just hit some of the... So what I'm going to do for these is I'll use dark silver as the base layer. And then things like that little increase. Most of them have a kind of pipe conduit thing like that. And I will use bronze on those bits. And then I just wash it. Strong tone wash, very brown, kind of oily. I just wash it with that, and it gives me the exact look that I want for kind of an industrial underhive look. So, yeah, basing is always a little difficult, especially like in your case, Mundo, since you do more tournament play. You know, judges want to see painted bases. So while I like black, really? Well, I like black because it's very neutral. Yeah, Six World, 100% agree with you. You know, also, it doesn't distract from whatever you're playing. So, like, one problem with this is for Necromunda, if I go and play an Ash Waste game, Ash Waste you know, obviously is more of like a desert wilderness kind of look to it. Whereas Necromunda Underhive is, you know, industrial, you know, deck plating kind of a look to it. And so if I take my Underhive minis and play Ashwace, then they just look out of place. So that's why I usually will just paint black. Because then I can play on whatever terrain I want and it won't bother me. But that's my method. So yeah. First choice, plain base, paint it black. Second choice, pre-sculpted bases that I just have to paint. Final choice, actually doing the work, sand, paint, etc., etc., etc. I really need to do the series of here's how gaming with ADHD paints minis. But I know that would require a lot of scripting. Yeah, Mundo, bases that complement the model are always fantastic. You know, like Tyranids on like Tyranids on deck plating, like they're in a Space Hulk, is nice. Or you know, you just said that you went Kraken themed, so maybe an ocean quality to it. Totally valid. I mean, basing is almost its own separate section of the hobby. For me, I just like them to look like they're on the table that they're playing at. So that's how I look at it. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. I love when, so I don't know how I got it set up, but I've got it set up where like I get text message anytime the post office is going to deliver me something. And it always makes me laugh. Like when it changes. I mean, I'm excited because I got a text message this morning. Hey, something is going to be delivered tomorrow. All right. And I get another text message. Hey, something is going to, you know, that same thing is actually going to be delivered today. Okay. Let's see here. Do I want to clean up the gray, or do I need to work? So let's see here. The boots. I'm wondering. Oh, this is interesting. So they've got these little tab jobbies here on the back. But they also look like they're supposed to be reinforcement, but then that would make the whole thing metal. All right, let's try this. We're going to sort of break Brian's rule of not using black. Just a little bit. All right. So we've got some black. Actually, I need to start. Actually need to start with another gray. You'll understand why in a second. I'm going to document why I'm doing what I'm doing. All right, so let's start with dark gray. All right, so we've got this cuff right here. We've got the bottom of the boot. These uniforms are utilitarian. So we're just going to go with some dark gray for the boot itself. But then for that cuff and the sole of the boot, I'm going to come back with black. So that'll actually give, again, going back to the Superman example, that will break up some of the lines. We'll see how well that works. Good morning, Malachi. And I have no idea if this color scheme is actually going to work, but we're trying. We're experimenting. That's one nice thing about doing it batch style like this. It's like, even if I end up not liking it, it's like I don't feel like I'm wasting time. It's just like, fine. I may not necessarily like it. I think I'm going to like this, though. I may not necessarily like it, but at least everything looks the same, and so I don't have to try it. Like, if I don't have to do something and then try and recreate it later. Because, you know, I don't actually, like, make notes of how I've painted everything. I'm also still really happy with these 3D prints. The company that makes them did some really good designs. All right, so that's the gray. Let's see here. As far as that is concerned, Six World says, got to find some good prints for some Horus Heresy Marines so I can make an Ultramarine army. Give me a second. Like, my only problem with stuff like that is, you know, risking the wrath of GW. But there's a lot of good alternates out there. That's not what I want. Actually, this might work for you. Nope, that's not it. There we go. Oh, come on. The DACA store on MyMiniFactory. They have the Crimson Wings Blood Angels. So, all right, where's some assembled models? You don't show any assembled model? Come on, guys. Anyhow, these are their alternate. They look kind of Horus Heresy-ish to me. I don't know. Maybe check that one out. There would be my suggestion. And then they've got dreadnoughts and other vehicles and whatnot. All right. So there we are. He's got his gray boots. Let's see how well my theory about all right, so it's not going to be as good for the soul because I'm also kind of painting the base because I don't care because I'll be repainting it. I'll shoot you the link, Six World. Yeah, for me, I have zero issues looking at alternates that are close enough. Like that's one of the things that I think is interesting, like from Mantic. Yo. Instead of fighting 3D printing, they've decided to embrace it. And so they've got their own 3D printing subscription that's very reasonably priced. Some of it's upgrade stuff for existing models. Some of it's new, or not new, but I mean like some of it's like whole kit. But regardless, lets them get their lets them get 3D files out. They can make some profit off of that. Like, technically, I haven't printed any of their stuff yet. For me, printed a couple things. I have some other stuff that I'll definitely be getting back to eventually. Like, I printed a couple of things as a thank you for a friend of mine. All right, so not perfect, but I think it works. Definitely gives a bit of a break. Keeps everything from being monotone, and then kind of fits with the minor look that I was going for. So, but yeah, so let's see, what else? So next week, we might not have a paint stream. Because I will be out of town. But I am going to take my paints with me. And I think I've got an idea. On how I could do a paint stream without a crazy setup. think I'm going to have to try it this week to see if it would work. Because if it does, then I've just got to, I just configure a couple of things. Before I leave. Wow. The chickens are grumpy.
You're grumpy.
I'm going to blame the teenager for annoying them. But yeah, I think I can do a stream with my iPad and some wireless iPad microphones that I've got. Which I just realized don't work with my new iPad. Anyhow. So yeah, so they don't work with my new iPad. I still have my old iPad. Which would just require a charge and a test. Or I could probably just get away with a Lightning to USB-C adapter. I wonder if they have one of those. I mean, they should, but... like, worst case, Apple makes one. Because they went with Lightning for so long, and now they're switching over to USB-C. They should have a cord for it. Anyways, so if I get that, then I can use my use my iPad and like it's got like this little kickstand thing on it that actually kind of holds it at an angle. And then the Monument Hobbies paint bag kind of has this built-in paint table section. Yeah. Needless to say, I'm sorry for thinking out loud. But I think I can make it work, and that was just way too sloppy. Luckily, I still have some gray paint that I can clean up with. I am getting distracted. How long have we been going? Holy crap, it's been an hour and a half. I feel like I've done nothing. I mean, I did a layer of the fluorescent orange. I did some brown. Did the dark gray, and now I'm doing the black. I haven't done nothing, but definitely not where I thought I was going to be. It's really weird, especially when you're working on just like a bunch of tiny details. Like you think things will go faster, but then no, you're 90 minutes into it. So there's that. Anyways, so yeah, so if we don't do a paint stream next week, it's because I'm out of town. But I have enjoyed getting back in the swing of things. So it will definitely pop back up. I am actually excited because I will get to see my brother and his wife, which we've enjoyed hanging out with the last few years. At like all sorts of semi-random activities. Weddings. I've gone to weddings for 3 of their kids in like 2 years. At least that's what it felt like. It's probably been more like 3, but But I feel like I've seen more of my brother in like the last 2 years than I've seen him in the last 20. Which is probably partly my fault, but you know, I spend my money on games instead of trips to see my family. That all right, this is a weird section of the sculpt. You got like these shin guards on. What I thought was the top of the boot is actually the strap of the shin guard, so I'm gonna have to come back with that. I'm probably, I don't know what color I'm gonna do the shin guard in. Probably brown. Again, same reasons. There's another couple of guys with shin guards too. Let's see. So we've got we were supposed to do Palladium Fantasy over on Cody's channel, but it looks like that's going to be delayed a couple of weeks because of work stuff for one of the players. Bear was going to drop out, but is no longer going to drop out. I am still struggling with doing non-streaming content. That's totally my fault. Kind of funny. The teenager that you hear shuffling around essentially has been dominating the computer as of late because of the new Destiny campaign. Can't really blame him. I'm not actually upset. Oh, that's true. Legion of Myth is going to have Kevin Sambita and Sean Robertson. I need to find a reason to have those guys on again. They like literally asked me. They're like, "Hey, feel free to invite us," and I'm like, "Okay," and I haven't.
Sure.
I haven't come up with a good reason to do so. Like, I can't just invite them to like, "Hey, let's hang out and chat." Yeah, they also usually like doing stuff on the weekends. Which I'm trying to get. It's like on the the non-Cody Thursdays. I'm trying to get back to doing my interview show, but I also need to just do it. Like, even if I don't have anyone scheduled for an interview, I need to just start doing it. Get on, even if it's just talk. And I need to have a particular subject. Because the paint streams are kind of the chill and hang out. You know, talk about whatever. So I want the Thursday to be more topic/interview oriented. I am planning on the BattleTech one. With a couple of people, which will be which will actually be kind of interesting because it'll be super international. If it ends up working out, because we'll have a couple of Americans, a Brit, and an Aussie. So I think the hardest part there is just going to be scheduling. But I'm excited for that one. I'm thinking about doing an interview this Thursday, since Cody's game got delayed. Because I think that needs to be the deal moving forward, is that Thursdays I do a live stream, or I'm in Cody's fantasy game. Anyways, so on Saturday, I got invited to do a live stream with Blaine Pardo, Phil Ravache, Blaine Pardo, BattleTech author, game designer, did tons of work with FOSSA, apparently worked on Twilight 2000 back in the day, had no idea. Phil Ravache has worked for Marvel Comics. DC worked on like background animations for Batman Beyond, probably like the second best Batman ever. Anyway, so that was kind of cool. And then the host is Scott McCullough, who is a military guy and either an author or comic book. I don't know. He was cool. I liked him. He runs a channel called the Council on Future Conflict, which is actually like real world stuff. So like, well, China is doing blah, blah, blah. And, you know, talking with guys who kind of know what's going on and providing their thoughts about it. But he's also the writer of Land and Sea Paradise. So, as you've probably heard on the channel, because I will talk to Blaine and Brent, and we'll talk about Land and Sea, which I'm going to go pretty hard on when they actually go get the game out. Anyways, but so they invited me on to join them. I'm like, I'm just a guy with a crappy YouTube channel. I don't know why I'm here. I am definitely not the creative. But it was a lot of fun, and especially because he's doing the Land and Sea graphic novel. I think it will be good to I think it would be good to have him on and we can talk about the graphic novel. Because, I mean, I had Brent and Blaine on basically at the launch of the thing. Might as well bring on the guy who's actually doing half the work. You need to do a little bit more research on him, though. All right, so first off, I'm really happy with this boot look. It's a little different. It has some contrast with the rest of the outfit. Not big, but just enough. All right, overall, these guys are coming together really well. I really like this. You know what? Let's do this real quick because I have paint, and that way I won't have to waste it. A bunch of them have these little hoses. And a black hose seems appropriate. But yeah, so the big catch to
seeing if I can get the guy for Thursday would be just the fact that he's currently in South Korea. So I'm not sure he could do Thursday. Like, I know Thursday evening will technically be during his waking hours, but he will probably be at work. So we'll see what he's... I will reach out and I will see what he says. All right. I think I've reached a good stopping point. I don't know about the rest of you, but I think we're at a stopping point. So, with that said, folks, I will eventually get more videos out. But regardless, we'll keep doing our paint streams. We'll keep hanging out, chatting. Thank you so much for being here, keeping me on, keeping my brain going while working on this, even if I got distracted a couple of times. But other than that, nothing specifics scheduled for Tuesday. Nothing specific for Wednesday. Thursday's up in the air. So yeah, get subscribed. Keep an eye out for videos. Also, for the last of you that are here, don't forget there are affiliate links down below if you want to help out the channel when you're shopping on Amazon or Drive-Thru RPG. Totally helpful. Absolutely would appreciate it. Also, if you want to be entered in for the monthly giveaway, of which Friday I should be working on those miniatures, you can join the channel as a member. It's only $2 a month. It's literally just the tip jar. But I would absolutely appreciate the support, because that does help, me being able to do the giveaway for people. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and end it for the day. Thanks so much for watching, and we will talk to you next time. Thanks, everyone.